The purpose is bigger. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a vessel fulfilling the purpose.
It's the Self-Care for Success show. Meet your certified life and book coach, Joanne Dean.
Greetings and welcome to the show. Today's guest is no stranger to the nursing community. She is a health and beauty expert, educator, and speaker. She's a native New Orleanian, and y'all, she is married to purpose. Please help me welcome our sister, Monica, to the show.
Hello, Monica. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So how are you? Let's start with that. Let's do a check-in.
I'm doing okay in this season, and we're just living one day at a time on this journey.
Awesome. So who is Monica Swint?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. But I like it. Monica Swint, she's a nurturer. She's a giver. She's a lover. And she's a strong woman of God. That's who Monica Swint is.
I see you out in the community. I know that you're doing amazing things. Tell us, what inspired your journey?
What inspired my journey where we are today? And definitely it's been a journey. So I went from nail technician to hairstylist to nurse entrepreneur. But what inspires the journey is, since a little girl, I always knew that I had a higher calling on my life. And what inspires me to keep going is God constantly speaks to me, telling me I need more. I need more. Like the more I do, the more is required. And I'm like, why me, God? Why me? But I was told a long time ago, I have that special calling on my life, and it's a part of it. So I have to keep going.
Mm-hmm. And so you pretty much touched on my next question. What fuels your faith?
What fuels my faith is, like you said, piggybacking off of what I just said, is that God constantly speaks to me, but I really didn't take on what he was guiding me to do only about, maybe 10 years ago, and I'll be 50 soon. So, I've been knowing I had a calling, but I've always ran from it. I ran from it because I know when you receive it and take on the calling, it comes with such a large responsibility. And I didn't want to take the responsibility on. I didn't. I didn't want the changes that came along with the responsibility.
Yeah, I totally understand that. A question that I'm always asking myself is, who do I need to become to fulfill the call that's on my life? Yeah,
that's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in all the things that you do as you traveled along this journey, let's talk a little bit about self-care. How do you show up for you, and how do you take care of you? And why is self-care important?
So for me, self-care used to be hair done, nails done, feet done, those things. But my narrative for self-care has changed over the last few years. And how self-care shows up for me today is creating healthy boundaries. Limiting access to me, boundaries in place, being okay with saying no when someone asks me to do something, not overextending myself. And that is self-care for me, sure. And when you are an entrepreneur, I used to hear people say it all the time about limiting your access. And I used to be like, that's not nice, but I didn't have a clear understanding. But now I have an understanding, because if everyone have access to you, you have nothing left for yourself. And people will continue to pull where your cup is literally empty and you have no more to give, and you will burn out.
Mm-hmm. So what helped you to make that shift?
What helped me to make the shift with putting boundaries in place and putting myself first. That's another one. That's a self-care for me. Putting myself first before, first is God and then Monica. So for me, putting Monica first helps me to be a better wife, mother, whatever roles I might play in others' lives. I got to put me first. Um, and what helped me to do that is when I sent my oldest daughter off to college, I didn't even realize that I had given my kids so much. I kept overextending and I didn't know I was living that life and I was that woman. And then it saddened me when I realized I was that mom that just did everything and did nothing for herself.
Mhm.
And I realized I was like, you know what? I'm going to put myself first and then everybody else comes after. And then when I did that, I started to be a mentally healthier person. And then I was a better sister, daughter, whatever role I played in whose ever life, because I chose me first.
Mhm. Let's talk a little bit more about that because I hear so many moms talk about the mom guilt and the ability to carve out time for themselves. Why do you think that is?
For me, I think it was culture. Like we're both from New Orleans, and our culture is very strong. It's family rooted. Your kids come first, your family come first. The Black woman is always last on the list. That's just the way I was raised. And I had to unlearn a lot of those behaviors and know that that's not relevant to who I am and how I want to show up. And me continue to show up like that, I will be a statistic. I will have heart disease. I will have diabetes and all of these things because I won't have the time carved out to take care of myself to be healthy.
Mhm. Yeah, I am so happy that you rewrote that part of your story.
Absolutely. Ooh, I feel 110% better.
Mhm.
And, just me being in healthcare and seeing a lot of our women come into the cancer centers and everything with these diagnoses, and their prognoses are not as well as other cultures, is
Mhm.
because our African American women almost always put their self last. They don't go to the doctor until the nodule is about to bust out their skin or whatever, for lack of a better term. Not because we don't want to, only because we don't see ourselves as a priority.
Mhm.
So it
Wow.
is disheartening.
Wow. So, what would you tell a woman that doesn't see herself as a priority?
I also, if somebody gives me the opportunity to have a conversation with them, I always, I never start off with a negative. I, just hear them out and see how they think about their health, how they think about themselves as a woman. And then we build on what they currently know and try to show you a better way of, I always lead with, if you put yourself first, you can always be a better version of yourself for whoever you're serving. So if you continue to take care of your aged parents and you're not taking care of yourself, then who's going to take care of your parents if you die early because you didn't take care of yourself? And then when you talk to them from a family perspective, if they take better care of their self, they can better take care of their family, because family is everything to a Black woman. They receive the information better.
Mhm. Absolutely. And what's key is that you can start with really small steps.
Very small.
Mhm. Talk a little bit about any fears you had around, beginning entrepreneurship, putting yourself first and your family, and if you have overcome any of those fears.
As far as entrepreneurship, I've always been a risky person since third grade. So, because my mom used to comb my hair a certain kind of way, and I didn't like it, so I would go to school and recomb it, and she's like, "So since you're gonna continue to recomb your hair, that's not your job." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna be combing my hair." So I've always been a risk taker, always thought outside the box. Um, as a nurse entrepreneur, getting navigating through these waters are a little different than when I was a hairstylist. As a hairstylist, I can be free, move however I want. as a nurse entrepreneur, is so many policies, procedures, and boards in place. You have to move a certain way. You have to, you just have to do things in decency and order all the time. The spotlight is always on you, and especially being a Black woman in healthcare business, the spotlight is truly always on you. But what I will say, I'm in a season of where I am in a growth season. I'm in a season of being very uncomfortable. And that's me being very transparent, where God is elevating me, where I've always moved real fast. I'm on to the next project, next venture, next bag. People understand that term. But right now, God wants me to slow down. He wants me to clear house the things that no longer serve me. So I've been doing that. And he wants me to listen.
You know what? It sounds like we're in the same season.
It's so uncomfortable, but I am in tune where I know what season I'm in. I've never been here before. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being obedient as I possibly can. And that's where we are. And I know he wants the best for me. And he tells me daily, he said, the word has been, make room for the abundance. So that's been his word to me for like probably about 4 to 6 weeks. So that's why I'm not saying that's why certain things are happening. Well, I guess I can't say that's why certain things are happening in my life, because he is making the room for the abundance so I don't fumble what he's going to give me.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Wow. How does that feel?
I don't like the way it feels, but what I can say is that I got from your most recent event, when we're talking about fear, false evidence appearing real. Like, I've heard that term so many times, but when I was at your event, and I'm not just saying it because I'm here, and I'm saying it because it's what it is. When I was at your event, for whatever reason, that just stuck with me, and I just keep saying it every time I feel, oh my God, I can't do it, or I'm so scared. God was like, no. Let's reset. It's false evidence appearing. It is not real.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he helps me to see what the reality is, and that, you can be afraid, but I'm still going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it afraid, because I know that the purpose is bigger. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a vessel fulfilling the purpose. And I understand that. But understanding that still doesn't make it easy. And it can get weary while waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I've been. I'm weary while waiting, even though I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for that. You know why that's important? Because those on the outside, looking from the outside, they think that there is no fear. But the only difference is we do it afraid, Monica.
Absolutely.
The only difference, because we experience the fear too, especially being an entrepreneur, especially being self-employed, because there's so many highs and lows and uncertainties. You have to do it afraid. You have to believe in yourself. And yes. I always say that belief comes from your foundation.
Yes.
It comes from
I believe that.
Understanding who you are. And when you have a solid foundation that is you, then you can continue to build on that. And that helps you with the courage.
Yes, I definitely agree. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, because that is critical, because so often, we do the whole social media comparison of lives, and just because you see that person's highlight reel, it does not mean that they're not dealing with insecurity. It does not mean that they're not dealing with self-doubt. It's just that we have the power, the God in us, to overcome those things and to keep moving forward anyway. Know that victory is ours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. I'm telling you, from a little girl, and I used to say, God, why don't I think like others think? Like I'm a visionary. Like it took me a long time to own that I am a visionary. I'm chosen. I have favor.
Mm-hmm.
To accept who I am. And once I, like you said, once I accepted this is who I am, you can walk boldly in that.
Mm-hmm.
Scared too, but you're still gonna show up.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. My word for this year is ownership. And because like you all last year, God kept dealing with me on playing small. And why do we play small? Because we don't want other people to feel insecure around us. That's why I was playing small. And so
Absolutely.
God just kept bringing that back to me like, you gonna get it or what? I'm truly taking ownership of who I am. And me taking ownership of who I am does not diminish the light on anybody else.
It does not. And I see it. I see it and I love it.
Thank you.
And it's deserving. Not that you don't need approval or anything validation, but it's deserving. I mean, not that I always say like it's not that you need social proof, but you have social proof.
Mm-hmm.
You have the credentials, you have the accolades, and a lot of people say, well, I don't need an Academy Award or whatever. No, you don't need it, but
Mm-hmm.
it feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It shows that all your hard work for that what you have done. And I always look at you and I'm like, oh, I love the growth. Oh, I love the growth.
Yeah. And I said the same thing about you. You so inspire me. You really do. Because you consistently show up. You consistently show up. And so kudos to you for doing that. So I say that you consistently show up. I see the discipline. So how do you want to be remembered? What do you want to be known for?
I want to be known a woman of impact. I want when I have a conversation with you, when I have a interview with you, I want to leave my lasting impression and be like, wow, like she really is who she says she is. She is a woman of God. She walks in her purpose. She has a great love for people. She have a great love for Black people and Black health. I love health and wellness. It is a lifestyle for me. It's not a fad. I've been doing this years and years, way before it became popular. This is a lifestyle because I know the impact that it makes. And I know, just like we said, small changes create big impact over time. And I want to be known for a woman of impact.
Mm-hmm. And that you already are.
Thank you.
So what's next for you, woman of impact?
What's next for me? Listen, if you would have asked that 2 months ago, I would have had a whole narrative for you. But the season that I am in with being patient and listening to God, He wants me to be quiet and listen. But what I can say, where He is currently leading me is in the more in the education space, more doing more speaking engagements. That is not something that I have ever desired to do. That has never been a desire of mine, but that is where God wants me to be. So I am being obedient. I've been getting a lot of invitations and I used to decline them all the time. I'd be like, nah, because initially I used to always say, is my accent too strong? Am I this? Am I that? And then people's like, no, we love to hear you speak. We love, it's like, you always bring great value.
Mm-hmm.
And God say, stop declining the invitations. So I stopped declining the invitations and I started taking them on.
And I'm so glad you did because there is a need for your voice. There is definitely, I mean, I'm not a nurse and I go back and listen to your lives. Because there's always some value, some nugget that I can glean from what you have said. So definitely don't stop using your voice. Don't stop, don't stop showing up. Don't stop saying yes, because you definitely bring value to our community. And I want to say thank you for that.
I appreciate that. It feels good to be appreciated, because just because I'm passionate about it, sometimes I'd be like, maybe people don't really care. And then people will be like, yeah, we do care.
Absolutely. Absolutely, we do. We do. So how can those that are not connected to you connect with you and follow you?
You can connect with me on Instagram at Nurse Mo Swint, and you can connect with me, my website, www.monicaswint.com, which is our consulting company. And I think that's it. Yep, you can definitely connect with us. Email info@monicaswint.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Are there any final words?
Yes, my final words, and this was the word from this morning. And sometimes, especially when you're a visionary, you'll feel like people not really getting what you're putting out and what you're dropping and the nuggets and everything. And God was like, don't focus on that. What I need you to focus on is keep going.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, they'll catch it at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Monica, thank you so much for showing up for us today and sharing with our audience. I know that something you said will help someone else to keep going.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I definitely enjoyed it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, me too. This was so good. So until next time, remember, it all begins with you choosing you. I'm your self-care sister, and I'm here to hold space for you. We'll see you next time. Take care.